Let us have a look at passage 2, questions 5 to 8. Okay, so here this is an easy passage. The language is also pretty simple. It talks about hammers and basically a hammer museum. So it begins by talking about how we imagine a particular kind of hammer, but then we have this museum in Haines, Alaska, which has 2,500 hammers with another 8,000 in storage, which are of various types. So then we describe this museum, that what it houses, right? We describe some types of hammers here. After that, we talk about the owner, Dave Pal, how he actually came to own this museum, basically came to build this museum. After that, this passage talks about what is his vision behind this museum, okay, why he has built this museum, right? And how it talks about, not it doesn't just show you hammers, it rather also teaches you how to use them, okay, what use they are intended for. Okay, and towards the end we talk about, yes, the vision of Pal towards these hammers, towards this hammer museum. So we talk about how he wants people to become a bit more hands-on, right? He wants to preserve the history of the hammer. These are his motivations behind building the hammer museum. So an easy passage, easy read. Let's look at the questions. Question 5. Which of the following statements based on the above passage is not true? Okay, direct question, right? Looks like a direct question. A. The Hammer Museum has made the town of Haines famous. Okay, we'll verify this. I remember reading that it has put Haines on the map, so still we'll verify this. Pell always had a fascination for tools, but his original inclination was not to build a hammer museum. We'll read the paragraph where we talk about how the museum came to be. Hammers, though used in many professions, have not featured in all the professions that we know of. So we'll go to the paragraph that talks about how many or every profession, this is what we have to check, actually used hammers at one point or the other. Pal's Museum, when it was opened, had the distinction of being the only hammer museum in the world. So we'll check if this is true, that when he built it, was it the only hammer museum in the world? So direct question, wherein the options are taken from different paragraphs. Let's check all of them. Right. So let's see here. Here we say that it has put Alaska on the map. The museum, in many ways, the small museum has put hence Alaska on the map. So that means that part is true, right? So option A is true. So we can't say that it's not true. All right. Then let's talk about whether he intended to build it or not. So this is mentioned in this paragraph. See, so what happened was that, in fact, yes, if when we read this paragraph, now first we come across this sentence. His collection shows that every profession, somewhere along the line, utilized a specific hammer. So this says every profession, whereas we say that, okay, many professions, but not all professions. Many, but not all. So looks like this option that talks about it is the one that is untrue. Let's still verify the other two. Pal, originally from Ohio, came to Alaska in 1980 to become a homesteader. So he came to become a homesteader, someone who grows crops. He and his wife settled in Haines, a small town of about 2,000 people in southeast Alaska, where they built an off grid cabin and raised their children in a lifestyle of self sufficiency. His fascination for tools motivated him to collect hammers at estate sales and later on eBay. So he was a collector. Eventually, his personal collection outgrew his home. So, when that happened, that's when he opened what was then the world's only hammer museum in a modest 1,200 square foot cottage with white siding and green trim. So that means he probably didn't intend it right from the beginning, but when his personal collection outgrew the space that was there in his home, that's when he built the museum. Also, when he built it, it was the only hammer museum. Plus, this paragraph tells me that every profession somewhere along the line utilized a specific hammer. So I have checked the information that is given in all of my options. This is true. We just saw this, that it put Haines on the map. Putting something on the map means making it famous. This is again true. His original inclination was not to become a was not to build a hammer museum. He was just a collector, and he came to Alaska to become a homesteader. Then this is something that we can see. Our passage does not substantiate. Our passage rather says this, that all the professions have used it at some point or the other. So likely the answer. And last one, yes, when it was opened, it was the only hammer museum in the world. So C is our answer. Clearly, direct question, easy question.